Self-managing your California rental is not free. Most landlords who do it lose more on one bad tenant or one long vacancy than a property manager would have cost them all year. Let me show you the math. I'm Chrissy Wade, broker and owner of Wellspring Property Management. And for over 10 years, we've managed hundreds of units across the state of California. We know property management inside and out. By the end of this video, you'll know the true cost of self-managing versus hiring a pro, the hidden expenses nobody warns you about, and how to run the numbers on your own rental property. Ready to get into it? Most landlords make this decision by looking at one number alone, the management fee. And on the surface, self-managing wins, right? Because that fee looks like pure savings you get to keep in your pocket. So let's put a real number on the table. In California, a full-service property manager usually charges between 8 and 10% of the monthly rent collected for a single-family home. On top of that, expect a one-time setup fee, usually $300 to $500, and a leasing fee when they place a new tenant, which runs anywhere from half a month's rent to a full month's rent. Let's make it concrete. Say your home rents for $2,500 a month. At 9% management, that runs about $225 a month, or roughly $2,700 a year. In a year where you also place a new tenant, you add on the leasing fee on top of that. So if you self-manage, you get to keep that $2,700 bucks. That's the case for doing it yourself. And I'm not going to pretend that isn't real money. But here's the problem. That number is only the price you see. The decision actually turns on the cost that you don't. Let me walk you through where the do-it-yourself landlords actually lose money. None of these show up on an invoice, which is exactly why they are so dangerous. First, vacancy. This is the big one. A single empty month wipes out roughly 8 to 10% of your annual rental income. On a $2,500 rental, every vacant month is $2,500 bucks gone that you're never going to get back. A pro with a real marketing system, professional photos, and a ready screening pipeline usually fills a unit faster than a landlord posting something to Facebook. If hiring a manager shaves even 2 weeks off your average vacancy, that alone can cover 1 month's management fees. Second, turnover done wrong. Every time a tenant leaves you having cleaning repairs, repainting, advertising, and showings, the average turnover runs around $1,750, and a rough one can climb past that $2,500. Self-managing landlords often pay full retail on every piece of that because they have no standing vendor relationship. A manager who sends a plumber 40 times a year gets a rate you will never get calling someone off the internet at 9 o'clock at night. Third, and this is the one that ends people, the bad tenant. Weak screening is the single most expensive mistake in this business. Put the wrong person in your unit, and you're not looking at a fee. You're looking at a full-blown eviction. In California, the court filing itself is around $450, but the real cost of a contested eviction, once you have lost a rent over 2 or 3 months, attorney time, and the turnover afterward, regularly lands between $3,500 and $10,000. One bad tenant can erase 3 or 4 years of management fees you were trying to save. Fourth, leaving rent on the table. A lot of self-managing landlords underprice their units because they do not track the market. And then they're afraid to raise the rent because they don't know the rules. Under AB 1482, most California rentals have a yearly cap of 5% plus the regional inflation. If you are not raising rent correctly every single year, you are voluntarily falling behind the market. And over a few years, that gap dwarfs any fee. Fifth, the legal landmines. This is where I see the most damage. California rewards precision and punishes shortcuts. Serve a defective 3-day notice, and your eviction gets tossed out and you have to start over. Mishandle a security deposit, and you can owe the tenant up to twice the deposit in penalties. Say the wrong thing to an applicant, and you're staring down a fair housing complaint and potential lawsuit. None of these are line items on a budget. They're the kind of mistake that costs more than a decade of management fees in a single afternoon. Now, let's talk about the cost that never shows up anywhere. Your time. Self-management is a part-time job. It's the 11 p.m. the water heater burst call. It's the chasing late rent, scheduling vendors, running inspections, and learning a new law every January. And keeping your records clean enough to win in court if it ever comes to that. So Be honest about what your time is worth. If managing the property eats 10 hours a month and your time is even worth $50 an hour, that's $500 in a month of your own labor. Suddenly, the $225 management fee is not the expensive option. It's the cheaper one. Now, I'm not here to tell you nobody should ever self-manage. That would be dishonest, and that's not how we do business at Wellspring Property Management. Self-managing can make sense if you have one unit, if it's close to where you live, if you're handy, if you have the time, and most important, you actually enjoy the work and you're willing to learn the law cold. Some landlords do this well for years. It stops making sense the moment any of these are true. The property is far away, you own more than a couple of units, you have a demanding day job, you have a problem tenant, or the rules have started to feel like a foreign language. That's the point where the savings quietly turn into losses. So here's the no BS version. Do not compare the management fee to zero. Compare it to your real life, all cost, doing it yourself, your vacancy, your turnover, your screening risk, the rent you are not collecting, and your whole time. When landlords run the math, honestly, the picture changes for a lot of them. That's the exact decision I want you to make with real numbers, not a gut feeling. Before you go, here's the big thing most California landlords do not realize about self-managing. The cost is not the management fee that you're trying to avoid. It's the vacancy, the turnover, the one bad tenant, and the hours you will never bill for. So I built a free self-managing cost calculator that adds all it up for your specific property, so you can see the real number in a couple of minutes. Click in the link in the description to grab it. And if you're already one of our valuable property management clients, you're already covered with all these issues. We've handled all of this for you. And if you would rather hand all the things over to a professional, feel free to reach out to us at wellspringpm.com or call the office 760-371-4282 extension 101. That comes straight to me. I'll see you in the next video.